Hi everyone, it's Jenny here from The Bear and the Fox. Today I want to share with you how to put together a book advent calendar. Now you may be asking yourself, what is an advent book calendar? Well, just like any other calendar where you maybe get a chocolate or a sweetie or a wee toy every day, in a book advent calendar you get a new book to read every day. So it can be a great alternative for parents wanting to cut down on chocolate and sweetie overload in the run up to Christmas. I don't know about you, but we are still working our way through the Halloween candy. Or it can just sit alongside another calendar. So we have been doing book advent calendars for a couple of years now. I think this is going to be our 5th year. So my boys get to open their normal advent calendars in the mornings, and then we do the book advent calendars in the evening at bedtime, and that becomes our bedtime story. So we've actually made the book advent calendar part of our bedtime ritual. So how do you put together a book advent calendar? Well, first of all, you're going to need some books, 24 books to be exact, to take you from the 1st of December all the way through until Christmas. So I have a couple of books here just to show you some of our favourites that are going into the calendar this year. Ollie's Christmas Reindeer, Pick a Pine Tree, what else have we got? Oliver Elephant, Last Stop on the Reindeer Express, and this one always goes in at number 24. It's The Night Before Christmas. Now, those were only 5 books, and we do actually have a lot more books. I shared our top 50 favourite Christmas picture books in my most recent video. So if you would like some inspiration for Christmas picture book titles that you could include in your Advent book calendar, then I will pop a link to my other video in the notes below. Now, 24 new picture books can get very expensive very quickly, and before you know it, you've actually spent more money on your advent calendar than on Christmas itself. So I want to share with you 5 tips on how to gather your 24 books for an advent book calendar without breaking the bank. Number 1. If you're buying books, you don't have to buy new books. I love going around and browsing the local charity shops in the run up to Christmas, and I've found some real gems that way. If you don't have any charity shops near you, then car boot sales and jumble sales are also a great way to get your hands on some second-hand books. And then of course there's always the internet. There are some great sites online where you can track down second-hand books and also picture books that are maybe out of print. Number 2. Reuse existing picture books that you already own. I like to pack away our seasonal picture books for the rest of the year and only get out our Christmas books at Christmas time, which means by that point the kids will not have read them for a whole year and they'll be all new and exciting all over again. Number 3. Borrow books from your library. As long as you make it clear to your children that these are library books and that they will have to be returned, it's absolutely fine to include library books in your Advent book calendar. The only thing that I would suggest if you're using library books is to use them fairly early on in your Advent book calendar so that you have a chance to read them before you need to return them, just in case you are not able to renew them. We have found that especially seasonal books for times like Easter and Christmas tend to get reserved a lot at the library. So just to cover yourselves, use library books maybe in the first week or so of your calendar. Number 4, have a book swap with friends or family. Now that can be a temporary swap where you're just swapping until after Christmas and then you swap back, or it might be a permanent swap. Maybe some of your friends and family have books that they don't need anymore because their children have outgrown them, and you might swap them for something else and get to keep the books. So again, as long as you're clear with your kids that any temporary books are not for keeps and that they need to return them after Christmas, it's absolutely fine to do that. And number 5, if you're really struggling to get together 24 Christmas picture books, you can always include books that aren't about Christmas, which makes it a lot easier because again, you can include library books, you can include books that you already own, and then you just mix it up so that you can alternate Christmas books and other picture books, and it still makes it a lovely daily ritual during Advent. So those are my top 5 tips for gathering books together for an Advent book calendar without breaking the bank. So what do you do with your books once you've gathered them all together? Well, one thing you can do is you can wrap them all individually and pile them up, for example, in your living room, maybe next to the fireplace if you have one, or next to the Christmas tree, depending on when you put your tree up. We had a special basket that we put them all in the first year. And you can either number the books through from 1 to 24, and then the kids need to find the book with the right number each day and open that, or you could leave them unnumbered and just let the kids pick a book at random out of the pile. Now, wrapping 24 books seems like a lot of extra work, and it's also a lot of paper to use up. So if you want to make it easier on yourself, or if you want to cut down on the paper, the amount of paper that you use for environmental reasons, then there are other ways that you can do an advent calendar. One way is to use a special bag or a Christmas sack if you have one, and you put in one new book every day. So you keep all the other books stashed away somewhere, hidden away from the kids, maybe in your wardrobe or in your home office if you have one, and then you just switch out the books every day so that the kids have a new book to discover. And I have one other idea that you could do if you're up for a little bit of crafting. I took the idea of the old-fashioned advent calendars where you got to open a little door every day and discover a picture behind it, and I translated that to an advent book calendar, and this is what I've been doing for my boys in the last couple of years. So for this, what you will need is access to a computer and to a printer. The first thing that you need to do is you need to get pictures of the covers of your 24 books. Now, you could either do that by snapping a photo from your phone and sending it to your computer, or you could look for the book covers online and take a screenshot. And if you're doing this for your personal use at home and you're not distributing those pictures anywhere else, it's absolutely fine to do that. So what you want to do is you want to get your 24 pictures, you want to make them quite small, and you want to print them all off onto a sheet of paper like I have done here. And the other thing that you will need to print off is the book advent calendar template, which you can find on my blog. There are two parts to it. There is a front part and a back part, and I will put the link to my blog in the notes below. You will also need a pair of scissors, a craft knife, ideally a cutting mat, and a glue stick. Now, the first thing you need to do is you need to cut out all the little pictures of your book covers, which I have already done here. And then next you need the back part of the book advent calendar template, and you're going to stick all the little pictures onto the boxes of the template. Now, I've already started, but I'm going to do some more. And there we go. If you want to have specific books on specific days, you can use the other half of the template as a reference for which pictures to put behind which numbers. Next, you want to prepare the doors for your advent calendar. So for this, you will need the other half of the template with the numbers, and you will also need your craft knife. Now, what you want to do is you want to cut around 3 sides of each numbered square. Remember, just 3 sides. Now, I've already started doing this, so I'm just going to finish. And there we go, 24 little doors. Now, the very last thing that you need to do is you need to stick the front part onto your back part. So just take your glue stick and go all around the edges, and then also in between, just just to keep everything in place. And then you take your front part and you very carefully align it. Press everything down. And there we have our finished book calendar with a different book cover behind each door. So what we do is we keep all our books on a special shelf, and then every evening my boys have to find the number for that day and open the door and then find the matching book on our special bookshelf, and then that's the book that we read as our Christmas bedtime story that night. So that's it for today. I hope that you found my tips on how to put together an Advent book calendar useful, and if you do make your own, I would love for you to share it with me, so please feel free to tag me in on Instagram or Twitter. You can find me there at Bear and Fox Blog. And I will put all the links to my previous video with all the Christmas book recommendations and to the blog post with the calendar templates in the notes below. If you enjoyed today's episode, then please do like this video and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you next time. Happy reading, bye!